Hey everybody, this is Dave here at Pulp Alley, and today we're going to be talking about the Pulp Alley tabletop adventure game. Specifically, we're going to be talking about creating a monster. Yes, indeed. So, one of the funnest things I think about Pulp Alley is being able to create your own characters. I think that's really awesome. There's so many games out there that take that choice away from the players. So, we like to be able to create our own characters, and I want that option to be there for you as well. So, the rules for creating characters are right there on page 9 of the core rules. There it is. Normal characters are level 4, level 3, level 2, and level 1 characters. Now, when I look at this big scary monster here, at least level 3, but for today, let's make it a level 4 creature. And that means here are the rules for creating a level 4 creature. It doesn't take any slots. It has a starting health of D10. 4 skills start with 3 dice. 2 skills start with 2 dice. 4 skills at D10s. 2 skills at D8s. And it gets 3 abilities. And it can pick anything between level 1 and level 4. So that's the basics of creating a character. That means we're going to have a lot of room for selecting abilities. So the abilities are over a couple more pages, and you got pages and pages of abilities to pick from. You got your level 1 abilities, you got level 2 abilities, you got level 3, and of course you have level 4. There's over 100 different abilities that you could pick to create this character. And what that means is you have so much flexibility, right? You have so many different ways that you could create this character. There's not just one way this character could be created. You could make it, dozens, if not hundreds of different ways. So here's what I was thinking about doing for this creature today. I guess to start off with, I think I'm going to use this beast ability. That looks pretty good. It's going to take away its ability to perform actions, but for this type of character, I think that kind of makes sense. And what it's going to give it is 2 of the abilities off of this list. There's a lot of good ones. This is a lot of good ones. Just about anything on this list would be great. For today, we're going to pick big, and we're going to pick mindless. So let's look at those 2 abilities. So mindless is down here at the bottom of this page. It's going to raise its brawl and might by 1 dice type, but it's going to reduce its cunning and finesse by 1 dice type. So that's what the mindless does. As far as big, it's on the next page here. Big, it's going to raise its health and might by 1 dice type, but it's going to reduce its dodge and finesse by 1 dice type. So we're going to lose on dodge and finesse again. That's a second hit to finesse. The next thing I feel like I want to give it is this close combat ability here. When I was looking at this creature, I was thinking to myself, I don't know that I want to take away its shooting skill completely. It's got that tongue hanging out there. What if that tongue could lash out and be used as a shooting attack? I think that's kind of cool. What do you think? So what close combat is going to do, that it cannot shoot over 12 inches, but once per turn it can discard to gain a bonus to its brawl or its shoot. So that's kind of cool. I like that idea. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it the monster ability. And for monster, we'll go back another page. And there is the monster ability. Just looking at this thing, I think this thing ought to cause horror. And that is what monster does. That all it does is you are horrific. That's what we're going to do. So those are the abilities that we're going to pick for this thing. So let's just go ahead and write those down on our roster here. So the ones that we picked were beast. We gave it big. We gave it mindless. We gave it close combat. And we gave it monster. So there are the abilities for our creature. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. But now we have to think about the skills. So its health started at a D10, but because we gave it big, that's going to push its health up to a D8. 12. So that is a creature that could stay on the table for quite some time. I like that idea. Now, looking at the other abilities that it has there, it's also mindless, close combat, and monster. Big and mindless are kind of interesting because they're going to do a lot to this to his stats. Mindless is going to affect its finesse. It's going to give it a minus there, and it's going to give it a minus on cunning as well. But it's going to give it a plus on its might and on its brawl. As far as big, of course, it adjusted its health up, but it also adds to its might. It also subtracts from its finesse and it subtracts from its dodge. So now we need to decide how we're going to split our dice up. Remember, we get four of these skills to put at D10s. So I'm going to put a D10 on Brawl. We got a bonus there, so that's going to push it up to D12. I'm also going to put a D10 on Shoot. I'm going to put a D10 on Dodge, but I got a penalty there, so that's going to cook it down to a D8. I'm also going to put a D10 on its finesse. However, look at this. It's going to drop to a D8 and then to a D6. So although I assigned a D10 there, it's going to be down at a D6. And then I have to assign two D8s. So if I assign a D8 to its might, it's going to go up to a D10 and up to a D12. I'm also going to assign a D8 to its cunning, but because I have that penalty from mindless, that's going to put it down to a D8. And there are all of my dice assigned. Oh, I wrote a D8 there. That's going to be a D6 on cunning because of that penalty from mindless. And now for the number of dice, we're just going to do it pretty easy here. We're going to put 3 dice on Brawl, 3 dice on Shoot, 3 dice on Dodge, 3 dice on Might, 2 on Finesse, and 2 on Cunning. And that is our creature right there. It is a beast. So that means it cannot perform actions. It is big. So we have included that in the stats. It is mindless. That is also included in there. So its finesse and cunning are down at 2 die 6 each. It's also close combat. So it cannot shoot over 12 inches with that tongue. It lashes out with its tongue. But it can discard to get a little bonus to its brawling and it's shooting. That's kind of cool. So lots of things going on there. This thing is a monster and it will cause horror as well. Really, really cool. How would you have done this character? Let me know. And while you're at it, make sure you get subscribed to our little channel. Hit the like button and the bell. If you have any questions about the abilities that I picked or how we put this character together, leave them down in the comments. And we're going to see you next time. Bye, everybody.